coming off of Saturday night's main event from Madison Square Garden this past Saturday night. Saturday's main event last week, I advertised Saturday's main event on this show. I kind of said a little bit about the fact that it was felt like a SummerSlam pre-show. After watching it, really just felt like a New York Knicks pep rally. What did you feel about Saturday night's main event? I mean, not saying it was a horrible show or anything like that. What did you feel about it, like overall? Was it? Did it do anything, for SummerSlam for you? Was it really just a big promo for Fanatics Fest and all that was going on in New York City this weekend? What was your takeaway from the Saturday's main event, where we did not get a change in a stipulation that was made on SmackDown, where Gunther was not added to the championship match, and it was made official Nick Aldis will be in the title match in the match against Gunther at SummerSlam?
Yeah, I mean, I think it. I mean, you let it off there with Fanatics Fest extra, I guess. Like that's kind of where it is. I mean, I enjoyed it because I'm a Knicks fan. You're a Knicks fan. I know you're not as much as of a fan these days, but yeah, I mean, it really was kind of like a New York Knicks celebration, Fanatic style. Maybe it's like I would call it Fanatics Fest New York Knicks edition kind of a thing. I mean, from what we got, I thought it was entertaining. I did had my cousin over, we got some pizza and some wings, and enjoyed the festivities. So it was fun to watch. I mean, going through the matches, there was that title change. So that
Which
was
we did not predict. I didn't predict that.
Yeah, I mean, Fatal Influence. I mean, cool on them. I mean, I'm happy about it. I'm a big fan of it. I know it's not JC Jane's title, but that she is part of Fatal Influence. So having that title change, I think, is a good thing for the group as a whole. I mean, I enjoyed. I do like Fallon Henley. I do like her. The other girl, what's her name? Lainey Reed. I'm not as big of a fan of hers. I think she's kind of the weak link of that that trifecta, so to speak, that trio, I guess, of that group. But happy for them. I think it was good that they won. I don't think Paige and Brie Bella, I don't think they need the titles. Obviously, I think they could kind of do stuff here and there. I don't feel like we're going to see a lot of them going forward. I feel like we're getting to that point with a lot of these older, and I say older because Paige is younger than us, but she's been in the business a long time. I feel like she's almost like a legacy talent at this point because she's been in the business for a long time. I feel like her schedule, Brie Bella's schedule, I don't think they're going to be featured on television very much. And Fatal Influence will be featured on television, I feel like, going forward a lot more often because they are younger talent. They haven't been exposed to the audience as much, at least on the main roster. So I think that's a good thing. I mean, what are your thoughts on that title change? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Kind of meh?
I mean, it caught me a little off guard. I'll say that much. Now, I guess I just question what now the future is in relation to the Bellas and Paige and things like that. What do you think we're going to get more from all of this?
Honestly, I feel like we're going to get more time off for Brie Bella and Paige. I don't see a place for them on the SummerSlam card at this point. Are we going to get? Do you think they could put something together quick? Because it is August 1st is, less than 2 weeks away. Can they put something together quick where Paige and Brie get into it because they lost the tag titles on Saturday night's main event and push something forward in the next week or so? Like, do you think that's the future? I don't see it.
Yeah, I do feel like there's one or two matches that need to still be made for this SummerSlam card. I don't know if anything related to the women's tag titles is going to be something.
I think if we're gonna get a good women's match,
or these teams in general, like whether it's like Paige and Brie Bella, breaking up, if you will. I don't think that's happening before SummerSlam.
I mean, what do you think of Lyra and Bailey? What do you think about that?
Well, I will say when it comes to that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the rumors and stuff going on around lately about Bailey and her contract coming to an end and how she may be on her way out of the WWE. Have you heard these rumors? Do you give any validity to them?
I won't give any validity to them because it is the internet wrestling community, and until Bailey says it herself, I don't listen to it. I've gotten to the point where I feel like I've gotten burned so many times by we talk about these rumors and nothing ever happens. Like I think the last one for me where I feel like I got burned enough where I was like, all right, I'm good, was like Chris Jericho being in the mystery box and all that stuff. And and obviously it's worked out because Danhausen's worked out very well. But everyone was like, oh, it's definitely going to be Chris Jericho and this and that. It's like, I just, whatever happens, happens. But I will say, of any talent in recent memory that will be or could be departing WWE in one way, shape, or form, I could see her in AEW. I think she would translate well to that brand. Not every WWE superstar translates well to AEW, and a lot of talent from AEW side does not translate well to WWE, which is why I don't know why people were talking about it as much as they were. But Jack Perry was definitely not a fit for WWE. I think he's an AEW type of a competitor. I think WWE has enough of the Jack Perrys of the world in their room, so to speak, in the locker room. So I just, it's certain talent could kind of go both ways between WWE and AEW. And Bayley is definitely one of those where she could do it. Honestly, you know where I'd like to see her? I like to see her just hit the indies for a while. I would love her on the independent circuit. I think that would be fun. Nothing against AEW. I've watched so many great talent go from WWE to AEW. They do something for like a month, and then where are they? They're sitting in the back. Like, what are we doing? So it's like I don't want to see that with Bayley. So I'm selfishly hoping she goes like the Shotzi Blackheart route and just hits the indies, goes to like GCW and hits all these indie feds across the country. Maybe retools, rebrands, and maybe we see her in WWE down the line again, if that happens.
Yeah. So the deal for Bailey is up at the end of this year. There's also injury time, obviously, that can be added to that. So the deal is apparently up at the end of this year. So I feel regardless they could be doing something, you know what I mean, with her and Lyra Valkyria for SummerSlam. I could see a rematch of that. It's weird that this past week on TV, like Monday Night Raw, right, we didn't really have that kind of made or really much of a follow-up to it. So I'm still wondering, right? We have really, we just have SmackDown this upcoming week to make any more matches for SummerSlam. Because once I feel like you get to the go-home shows, you should have your card all figured out. Right now, we got 10 matches. I'm guessing we're going to get to 12, so we have 6 a night.
I'm shocked they didn't do something at Fanatics Fest because apparently, Fanatics Fest is where all the big stuff's happening. I mean, that's where Gunther and Nick Aldis got settled for the match made official. I mean, I know that's been on the rumor mill. We watched the stories. We were there in person this past week in Albany on SmackDown. So like we've kind of read between the lines, but it was kind of interesting that they gave it to the Fanatics Fest fans instead of the Netflix, USA Network television audience. I just thought that was an interesting way of setting up what, a lot of people thought was going to happen anyways, but I thought they would have done it on television.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was on TV, right? They put it on like the ESPN platform and YouTube and things like that.
But it wasn't on SmackDown or Raw kind of a thing. Like that's my point. Like I get, yeah, you can watch the Fanatics Fest and this and that and the other thing, but it wasn't on SmackDown. It wasn't on Raw. And obviously it should have been on SmackDown because Gunther and Nick Aldis are featured prominently on SmackDown every single week. So I kind of felt like they should have, instead of done it on Fanatics Fest, done it on SmackDown. Maybe selfishly, maybe they would have done it in Albany where we were this past week, or this coming Friday for SmackDown. But it is what it is. I'm glad we're getting the match. Curious to see how it turns out. We're less than 2 weeks away, so I'm excited for that.
How did you like how Saturday Night's Main Event went off the air with we talked about it, right? Kind of thrown out as a joke, but returning from injury in the NBA world, Tyrese Halliburton showed up during the main event promo with Roman Reigns and Jalen Brunson. He showed up with Seth Rollins. Really, nobody got involved. I will have to say, listen, I understand celebrity involvement is always pretty weak. But I felt Jalen Brunson's celebrity involvement was just so weak. When Seth Rollins came out and and they got attacked and Roman Reigns got attacked, Jalen Brunson just sidestepped in front of Seth Rollins. Like didn't even make an aggressive move, just literally just sidestepped in front, not even saying it was such a weak, such a passive move that he was even going to stop Seth Rollins. It was just so, nonchalant.
Well,
And
here's
then
here's the
Roman
thing
Reigns
though.
comes
Like,
back and does a Superman punch, and then, the night's
I'm
over.
not
So,
surprised though. I'm not surprised because if you're going to involve two guys that, Brunson's been banged up. He was banged up the entire playoffs for the next
mhm.
title run, and then Halliburton's coming off a very major injury that he had, and he's going to be back in full. In the fall. Like, and Brunson just had some work done recently because the Knicks just won not that long ago. So, like, for me, I wasn't really surprised by the lack of physical interaction. I was actually more surprised that we didn't get more of I guess, a promo or something from Jalen because Jalen didn't say anything. He
Yeah,
just stood there. He just like
he
his
just,
facial expressions. Like I was like,
yeah.
Jalen, say something to the people. I'm sitting there watching it with my cousin, who's also he's a huge Knicks fan as well. We're kind of just like, okay, Roman's talking, so is Jalen going to take the mic? Like, I mean, what are we
I mean,
doing
I
here?
like what we
It
got
was
out of
just
Carl Anthony Towns with Danhausen. I thought that was perfect, and he
that was
looked
good.
good.
That was good because it was
Yeah.
like the cat, and he's known as Cat. It
Uh-huh.
worked out perfectly. I thought that was better than the Jalen Brunson segment, in
Yes,
my opinion.
and I'll be honest with you, he looked good. Carl Anthony
Think
Towns, you know what I mean?
think
Didn't
he
look like
future Omos.
future Omos. Well, hopefully, if a little better than Omos in regards to that, they give him some regular. I mean, Omos is doing great down in AAA, I guess. So they're giving him some space down there.
But I will
Um,
say, as a Knicks fan, Cat, we need you staying in the lineup for the Knicks for a long time. Don't think about WWE for a long time.
I will say one thing that we got this past week, as part of Saturday's main event with a few different things. We got the announcement that WWE is fully aware, unlike what they've said, that a lot of people probably aren't going to be flying to Saudi Arabia. So they are going to do an American kind of thing going on in WWE's world. A lot of people are talking about, AEW now should run a show out of New York City, but I'm under the impression that whatever AEW does, I know that these other kind of groups are going to go with AEW. I'm talking about the WrestleCon groups, the GCWs of the world. They're going to go towards what AEW picks. They're not going to go towards what WWE picks. They'll go. They're not against WWE, I don't think, but I think the idea is that if it's going to be an alternative, AEW would be leading the way. So I don't think AEW should run out of New York City that weekend because that would just be playing in the WWE's hands because WWE will also be in New York City that weekend. So it will. There's going to be a lot of people at the watch parties and things like that. And I'm not saying that you can't go somewhere where a WrestleMania watch party is taking place because I heard there's going to be new ones being announced. But I don't think that you should then be trying to run shows up against WWE shows like we keep talking about with like All In and AAA in a couple months, right? So don't be trying to run like AEW out of like Yankee Stadium at the same time they're running the Garden for AAA and NXT and things like that. I just wish that WWE was they're just showing that they are exactly just about the money because they know, and by running these shows, they are aware. Which, to be fair, if they ran WrestleMania in London, they wouldn't be running these shows in New York City. Just because they're leaving the United States isn't just like, oh, well, because they're leaving the United States, so a lot of people won't go. It's like specific places. If they were running London, then WrestleCon would just go to London. Then NXT would go to London. Then AAA would go to London. Like all these things would just be at London. So it's just the idea that they know that when they go for WrestleMania, they're not going to be bringing everything with them. And that takes away from WrestleMania weekend, kind of having to have it like split off, meaning that NXT and things like that are not a part of WrestleMania weekend. And they know that they don't want to fly anybody who's not a part of it. I'm very curious what they're going to do about like the Hall of Fame when it comes to WrestleMania in Riyadh. That is actually probably the most curious thing because again, you get a lot of people who are older, wrestlers getting inducted and things like that.
They're not going to want to sit in a flight for all those hours. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and have to put up with all of that as current people who are not employees of WWE.
Maybe they'll do it. I'm not saying they will, but maybe they'll because of all the travel and things like that.
Hmm.
Maybe that'll actually be our Friday night SmackDown finally. Maybe. I don't know. I just throwing it out there. I'm not saying they're doing it. I'm not saying they're not doing it, but it would be, as
Maybe they tape it in New York City like on Tuesday with
yeah,
all of the major WWE people there. And
yeah,
then obviously Seth
Aaron,
Rollins,
Aaron
Roman
is a
Reigns.
special on Friday.
Yes.
I mean,
Taped out in New York City.
yeah,
couple days earlier so that like the Triple H's of the world will be there.
Yep.
And then after it's over with, the legends can go back home, and then the WWE formally can go to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania that weekend. So that maybe that is the case. But we will see. Overall, I mean, Saturday's main event. I don't think, again, it just felt kind of like a Fanatics Fest kind of thing. It's weird that they're just so in bed with Fanatics, because I know that they use Fanatics for their T-shirts and things like that. But it's crazy now that you would think TKO actually was like owned Fanatics, which they do not. So but they're just it's a main thing, and they're a part of it. And this whole weekend really just felt like a show to show off Fanatics Fest. And I'm wondering, was Fanatics Fest because I heard the World Cup was in the New York area on Sunday. Was Fanatics Fest this weekend to coincide with that even? Not necessarily sure. It's weird because I do think I wasn't around, but wasn't the World Cup final going on at the same time they were doing this stuff in New York City at Fanatics Fest?
Yeah, yeah, because the World Cup,
It's
they
like in the
just finished
afternoon.
up this past weekend.
But it was like at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the
Yeah,
Summerslam pre-show that they were doing from Fanatics Fest was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because I saw it had taken place earlier that afternoon around 5 o'clock. So it's kind of weird that they would go up against something like that, but in the same market at least, being in New York City. But either way, Saturday's main event is in the books. The next one isn't until, well, a Sunday in Atlanta, which was originally supposed to be when Money in the Bank was, but we pushed that off as SummerSlam is coming up in just about 2 weeks.